Good morning from the Littleton Fire Department. We're here with Scott Wazinski, the chief. He's going to tell us all about what's going to happen today at the exciting open house here in Littleton. Scott, hello again. Long time no see.
Good to see you.
Tell me, what are we going to see today?
Today we have a variety of events going on, starting at 10 and running till about 2 o'clock. Since we're right here, we'll start right off with the old police station, which will hopefully be coming down during our renovation. What we'll be doing with this building is we're actually filling the inside with smoke, or imitation smoke. And when the public comes through, we dress them up in gear, we put them on air packs, and we let them experience building fire situations similar to the way we do. It's all done, like I said, with fake smoke, so there's no risk of anybody getting hurt, and there's no heat. But they do get to experience the zero visibility and the ability to wear our turnout gear and air packs and crawl through a maze inside a smoke-filled building.
I recall doing that last year. It was more of the fun getting the pack on and all the equipment, and then when I got inside and I realized I couldn't crawl around on my knees, there's this firefighter who appeared magically in the smoke and just led me around the obstacles. I don't remember who he was, but it was a great experience in there. Really disorienting, let's put it that way.
Good. It is. It's a nice thing that, you know, the public can actually experience what we experience.
So we're over here at the Littleton Fire Open House. My friend here just went through the firefighter experience. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what you did.
It's pretty intense. There's one point I didn't think I was going to make it out, but I just kept doing the right-hand wall fine, and I made my way out. Feel pretty good.
Okay, can you tell me what your name is?
Derek Dufrin.
And where are you from?
Air, Massachusetts.
Now I hear Smokey's coming back for a repeat visit.
Smokey will be here around 11:30. We will also have a guest appearance by Sparky the dog. Sparky will be in and out during the duration of the day. A few other things that we have going on right over here. We have our the kids' burn house, where they can actually
burn the house down.
Imitation flames in the windows.
Okay, good.
And they can use the hose and, you know, pretend to put out the flames in the windows.
I noticed that you have a fire safety house here and a couple other things as far as your auto demonstrations. So tell me a little bit about those, please.
So the fire safety house, it actually goes through kitchen safety. There's a stove in there, and it shows the children how to, you know, stovetop safety to make sure that the pans and handles are turned inside and not as a catch hazard to, you know, potentially spill burning or heated material on them. And then in the front of it, there's actually a stage where all the kids can sit up on a like a tiered staircase.
All right, so we're going to talk about a couple kitchen hazards, and then we're going to go in the other room and talk about a good way to get out of a bedroom in case of smoke in the building or a fire. What are some kitchen hazards you guys can see in here without me even giving them away? Let's assume that this oven's on right now. The pot shouldn't be facing this way, right? We want to keep the handle inwards. Why do we want to do that? You could pull it down, right? But even better than keeping it inwards is keeping it inwards on the back burner, right? So even if absent-mindedly maybe we keep it out, it's still kind of far away. It's not overhanging the oven anymore. We can keep that nice on the back burner, and that shouldn't be as big a hazard. What other hazards do we see over by the oven right now? The paper towels, those are kind of a hazard. Why is that? They could catch on fire. They're kind of hanging right over this burner right here. They could catch fire, which could spread to the cabinets, and then you could end up with a kitchen fire. Also, if you had this candle burning, that's another thing you don't want near paper towels. A good rule of thumb when it comes to candles and burners and kids is a 3-foot kid-free zone all the way around the oven. If you're a kid, you probably don't want to go within 3 feet of the oven, and if you have a candle, you probably want to keep a clear spot of about 3 feet all the way around the candle. What else do we have for hazards in the kitchen? You definitely want to always keep the cabinets closed when you're walking around because you don't want to take the door off the head. What do we see inside this microwave oven? A pot. Do we want to put a pot inside the microwave? No. Why is that? It can catch on fire. Metal in the microwave does not go well. That goes for any metal. Spoons, knives, forks. We don't want to put that in there. What's something else? How many people have their microwaves nice and up high? It looks good, right? Having the microwave up high. But let's say you put this metal thing in here full of liquid, and it's up high now, and you go to pull it out, well, all of a sudden you realize how hot it is, you drop it, and now it's all coming down on you. If you can, it might be a good idea to keep the microwave maybe a little lower, and again, to be very careful if you're doing any type of liquid heating inside the microwave. Any other hazards that we see? Yeah, the cord hanging over. Yeah, we definitely don't want cords hanging out anywhere. What's next to the phone that's just hanging out?
The fire alarm.
Yeah, the fire alarm. Is the fire alarm going to do its job down on the counter? No. What happens? Odds are maybe somebody's doing some cooking and they send some smoke up into the ceiling. It sets the smoke detector off, and we know it's not a fire because there's just some cooking. So what do? We take it down, we take the batteries out, put it on the counter. Yeah, we've made it so it's a little less annoying right now and we can finish our cooking, but now we're not protected in case of fire, right? What's underneath the sink in a lot of houses? A fire extinguisher, that's good. That might be a good spot for it. You also might want to not want it too close to the oven, as if you had to actually use it if the stove was on fire. But what about these? What are these here? Yeah, cleaning stuff. Is this stuff that we want to play with if we're kids? No, we don't want to do that. Even though it's down low and easy for us to get to, maybe it's a good idea if we put it in a more secure location. What's up high right over in these big cabinets up here above the oven? Cereal. Who likes cereal? Everybody likes cereal, right? What if the cereal's over the oven? Do we want to climb on the oven to get to the cereal? No. And if we're the parents, do we maybe want to find a better location for the cereal? Because we know that the kids, even though they say no, they might still try and climb on the oven to find the cereal, right? Okay. So we just want to be more careful as to not try and not get burned. And these ideas I'm showing you might help that from happening. What's this on the handle for the oven? How many people have a towel on their oven handle like this? A lot of people do it, but what's the problem with that? Maybe a kid walks by, you're not thinking about what you're doing, the oven's on, and then all of a sudden it makes it a lot more reachable, a lot easier for you to pull that open. What's inside this oven? Pizza box, right? How many people do this? Keep the pizza nice and warm, right? Is that a good place for a piece of cardboard? No. What's going to happen to that if we turn the oven on? A fire, right? All right. Any other hazards that anyone sees? What's something that you guys think, you guys might be a little young for it, but anything that we use fire for, like cooking or heating our house, can produce carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a gas that you guys can't see or smell, but it can make you very sick. So we're going to want to have carbon monoxide detectors on every level of your house. They kind of look like this. They can look like a whole bunch of different designs, but generally speaking, they all kind of look like that. You guys, I'm going to set off the carbon monoxide detector so that you know what it sounds like. It's just a couple beeps, but if you want to block your ears.
Alex has autism.
Oh, okay. Everyone get an idea of that? Okay. So that, if we hear that, what's that mean? What do we do if we hear the smoke detectors go off? We get out of the house. What do we do now if we hear the carbon monoxide detector going off? Get out of the house, right? Does everyone have a meeting spot outside their house for in case the alarms go off? To what? Your friend's house. That's a good meeting spot.
To the mailbox.
To the mailbox, kind of like the one that's out there. So if we had the alarms go off in here right now, maybe a good meeting spot would be the mailbox outside, right? All right. One of the things I'm going to show you guys, mostly for grandmom, granddad, this is called the File of Life. Maybe the adults would be interested in grabbing these. For any of the older folks that happen to be in the house, you can list all pertinent medical information, and it works great for when we have to show up if grandmom or granddad's sick. We put this right on the fridge, and then we can grab it, and we have all their medical information all ready to go, and we don't have to waste any time on seeing, right?
The back side of the trailer, there's actually a bedroom with a small bed, and the same thing. They can, it shows them 2 ways to get out of a bedroom.
Excellent. That's why I was wondering whether you were going to demonstrate the proper ways to to get out of a smoke-filled room.
And the other neat thing with that is the door. The bedroom door has radiant heat inside, so it teaches the children to actually feel the door with the back of their hand.
Excellent.
And if the door is hot, then they can either go out a side door, if there's a side door, or there's actually a fire escape ladder out the window, so they can escape out the window
And
in the
practice
back.
what that's
if,
supposed to be like.
If they
Yep.
feel a hot door.
Sure.
This looks like a normal bedroom to you guys, right? So what are we going to do inside a bedroom if there's smoke in the bedroom?
You get down and you feel the door with the back of your hand so you can still from the handle.
Excellent. So what we're going to do is if smoke comes into this room right now, it should set off our smoke detector. And then we're going to get nice down, we're going to get down low, and we're going to try and go out the way we came. We're going to walk on over, we're going to check the door for heat, right, with the back of our hand. And if the door is hot, that's not a way we want to go out, right?
But if it's cold, then we do go out.
If it's cold, we can go out that way. So at that point, then we want to find a second way out, right? So do you live on the first or the second floor of our house? Second, mostly second. So what we're going to do at that point is go over to the window.
And you open it up
Yep.
and throw things out the window so the firefighter knows there's people.
Exactly. So that's when we're going to come on over here, open up the window. Hey, firefighter Tim, I need help getting out.
Hey, come on out.
And at that point, we can go out the window with the firefighter's help if you live on the second floor. Okay? So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and set the smoke off,
Okay.
and the alarms are going to go off, okay? All right, guys, there's smoke in here. What are we going to do? Stay nice and low, right? Come on over. Are we going through this door?
No.
No, why?
It's warm.
Because it's warm, right. Come on over. Come feel the door. That door's not actually there, okay? We're pretending that door's not there.
Oh my god, it smells like
So,
pancakes.
so what are we going to do? We got to find another way out, right? Maybe the window works?
Open the window up. I can't.
All right.
I can't. I'm running away.
So if we're on the second floor, we're asking for help, right? We're not just going out the window?
No. Okay, do this. I am
Good work, guys.
So what about, I see down here we have a rather impressive wrecker. Is that part of the accident involvement, or is that part of the cleanup?
CBK does the majority of our cleanups.
That's right,
and,
they do.
And they do all the removals at our accidents. So we've set up an auto extrication demonstration over there where a mock van rear-ended a truck and, you know, went a little airborne. So we've stabilized that with struts. And we will do an extrication. We will remove the doors off the vehicles.
My name is Joe Rock. I'm a captain on the fire department here. I've been in Littleton for 24 years and been on the department for 23. And I've been in the fire service for 32 years. So what we're going to do for you today is we're going to go over some basic auto extrication for you. And what that will be is we're going to be what we say taking the door. So we'll be taking the door off of the red vehicle, and we're going to be simulating the patient, second patient stuck underneath the vehicle. So that actually, not that common, but it does happen. And so those are things that we have to train to do. So we're going to have 3 people. It's going to get loud, and I'll try and point out what they're doing. So basically what we'll do, and we've already kind of cheated because we've stabilized our vehicles, but the first thing we're going to do when we come on scene, we're going to establish that the scene is safe. That's the first thing that we're going to do for our safety. So you might see firefighters taking an extra minute or two to make sure that they can enter the scene safely. So for instance, if there's live power wires on your vehicle, we're not going to go to the vehicle until we get the light department out to close down the power. But we're going to chalk the vehicle, so you see the vehicle chalk there. We already have the struts in place on the second vehicle, even though we're not going to really touch that this time. Then what they're going to do is they're going to take the windows. And the reason we take the windows is we want to try and control as much of the extrication as we can. So if we start bending metal with the windows intact, we don't know when those windows are going to pop. So we're kind of at the mercy of the vehicle. So we'll take the windows, and then they're going to, and I'll point out as they're going through it, they'll take the door off. So one of the things that we teach, especially our EMTs, but the firefighters as well, get into the car and start talking to the patient, because it's very overwhelming. You've just been in an accident, and if we're at the point where we have to extricate you, it's probably been a pretty bad accident. So you're scared, you might be cold if it's getting into winter, maybe hurt. And there's a lot of things going on. So in a typical call for us, if we have to do an extrication, you're going to get an ambulance, an engine in the rescue, and then we'll bring in the paramedics that we work with out of Emerson Hospital, plus the state police if you're on the highway, and the local police. So there's probably about 15 or 20 people that respond on a basic accident. If it's more involved, then we'll call in other towns to help us out. So what we do when we get to a call is we lay out the tarp, and we teach all of our firefighters to pull all of the equipment out and lay it out, because what we don't want is people running back and forth to the vehicles or to the engines to pull the equipment out. So what we have here is, I'll kind of go through this quickly. So we just have all of our cribbing we have to support the vehicle, some basic tools, chainsaw. Don't necessarily know when I would use a chainsaw, although we don't have the K12 out, but we sometimes use the big circular saw if we need to cut through the sheet metal to maybe pop a lock or something like that. We'll use that. These are airbags. I'll pass this around. So these we use, so this one is rated for 12 tons. So we can put this underneath a car, or the bigger ones underneath a pickup truck, and we're able to elevate that. This will probably have a total travel of about 6 to 8 inches. Then it starts to get a little unstable. So, but we can use these, and then we crib as we bring the vehicle up. So we have these available to us. You see the strut system that we have? That's very important to keep the vehicles stable as we're working. Again, as selfish as this may sound, our safety is first, right? So the way we teach it to firefighters is it's you, meaning you the firefighter, it's you, us, your crew, and then them, the patients. So we do everything we can, and we will take, the other thing we teach the firefighters is take a lot of risk if there's a lot of benefit. Don't take a lot of risk if there's not a lot of benefit. So we don't want, for instance, firefighters crawling underneath vehicles that aren't secured. Hey, Sean, take the window too. Okay, so now what they're doing now is they're creating what's called a purchase point. So that's going to allow them to get the tool, which Sean is holding, into that space. So that's a spreader. So the basic tools is the spreader that Sean sees, that you see with Sean, and then this is a cutter. So these generally exert about 25,000 psi to allow us to, in reality, we can't bend the metal the way we want to. So we try to do something that we think will make a difference, but it's really up to the vehicle. And it's a little bit of it's a little cheating, because these vehicles aren't deformed, so they're the way that the engineers intended them to be. But when they've been into an accident and they're already in a different position, it's sometimes difficult to understand how they're going to bend. All right, so Sean's taken out the window. Now what we would normally do at this point is we'd already have somebody in the vehicle with the patient, and we'd probably be putting a tarp over them. So that glass, when it breaks, it doesn't break into glass like plate glass that you might have at home. So it generally comes out as little squares. So in and of itself, the glass won't cut you, but if it kind of gets into your fingers or into your hair, then you'll get cuts from that afterwards. So everyone heard it popping off the nadir pin. So what your normal lock mechanism does, where you release the lock, it releases the clip off of the nadir pin. So we're basically not doing that, right? So we're just forcing that off the pin. The other interesting thing that we teach the firefighters is a little saying, try before you pry. Because even though it's fun for us to use the tools and understand that I don't want anybody hurt, but we do this because of the excitement as well, it's fun for us to use the tools. The vast majority of time, we can just go unlock, like just release the door and the door opens. There might be times, even in a bad accident, where we may cut the car apart, or I should say not a bad accident, because it gives us easier access to the patient. Because we want to try and minimize how much we're moving the patient as we take them out of the vehicle. So sometimes you might see us take the roof off or something like that. So now we've gone from, think about your car at home. When you open the door fully, you probably have, 3 feet that you can move between the end of the door and the body of the vehicle. But now with this out, we can get 2 or 3 people right at the doorway to put somebody on a backboard or to do something else. Okay, so that was the first part. So we've taken the door. Other things that we can do here if we needed to, as they're setting up, I'll come point it out. So often when the vehicle is in a front end collision, the dashboard ends up kind of coming down onto the feet of the patient, right? So they get trapped up underneath the dashboard. So what we can do is we can, what we call displace the dash. And so we'll make a cut here and up here, and then we're able to put these rams. So this is the other thing that I didn't point out. So we're able to take this, and this, when it opens up hydraulically, just extends. And now by putting that anchored in this back spot here, and we put the other piece up here, we're able to push the whole dash forward. And if we actually, and maybe we'll do this afternoon, I'm kind of learning the schedule as we go, but if we were to do that and we were to take the roof off, we can create an environment where we could get 4 or 5 people into the vehicle if we needed to treat a patient or to extricate them. One of the things that's changing, and we're starting to look at this here in Littleton, is a move within the industry called mobile integrated healthcare, and actually doing proactive care. So rather than waiting for you to call 911, especially for the chronically ill, we're trying to set up to be able to do outreach into the community. And around the country, they actually call them clients, right? So they're not patients, they're not victims, because they're just sick people, and they're trying to live their life, and so they end up in a relationship with the EMS service, and so they call them clients. So, but it is an interesting question. It goes a lot to the semantics of what we, how we look at our job. Was how do we get them out? So, we'll get them out however we have to. Generally, there's been a change actually in Massachusetts and around the country for that matter. We don't use backboards anymore. So the research showed that backboards actually create as many injuries as we thought that they were saving. And it's very uncomfortable to ride on a backboard. So we might use a backboard to move you, because it's easier if we have a patient in an awkward spot to get you on a board and have 5 or 6 people carry you out. But then what we're going to do is we're going to just put you on the cot. So as you can see what they did there, so they just simply took, right, so they took these 2 airbags, put them on top of each other, and pretty quickly we were able to displace that vehicle probably 1.5 feet. So that gives us access to the patient if we need to get in and get to the patient.
And CBK is there to give a brief demonstration on how we remove vehicles, when they're in a significant crash like that, or when they're flipped over, they can bring in their rotator and just pick them up, and they could place them on a flatbed truck to be hauled away.
Wow, that's amazing.
So they do offer, it's a great tool, for us. They can come in with that equipment, help us stabilize, and we've had like on instances on 495 when cars go over the embankment, we've had them go into Beaver Brook. We can bring the rotators in, and they can just lift them right out from over embankments and help with stabilization.
Interesting. Now I hear that there's going to be a competition between you and Mike de Blasio to do the ladder up and down to see who gets the fastest time.
Something like that.
Okay. I also noticed there was some an air house or a bouncy house that's over there.
Yep, we do have the bouncy house again this year. We had it last year. That's a lot of fun for the kids.
Okay,
That's,
good.
And then inside the back garage, we have our Fire Explorers, Explorer Post 1. They are our backup when we're at fire scenes. But
yeah, I was going to say, tell me a little bit more about who they are.
Fire Explorers, there's basically two groups. We have the Fire Explorers, which is a club,
okay,
and that's 12 to 14, and then from 14 to 18 is the Explorer program.
Okay.
And it's all based through scouting, but it's sponsored through the fire department, and they learn all about different techniques and what we do in the fire service.
Okay.
They all have their own gear, and they will actually respond to scenes, significant scenes with us, brush fires or house fires, things like that, and they'll be able to give us a hand and be support.
Too. Yeah.
So it's a great program for them, and the benefit for us is that when they turn 18, the majority of our department right now came from the exploring program.
So you send them off to the academy?
Correct. Yep. When they turn 18, we send them to the academy. They go there for, it's a 5-month call recruit program, and when they graduate, then they're a firefighter for us.
Anything else special or that you'd like to highlight for today's open house?
We also have a burn demo.
Oh, okay.
And the burn demo is usually a pretty good hit. It's a 2-room burn this year. We split it up so that we can show the effects of, we have Christmas trees in both. These burn well.
Yes.
And they're significantly hot, and they move, when they catch on fire, the fire spreads rapidly.
Right.
So on the left side of the burn demo, we'll show a fire without a sprinkler in it. And on the right side of the demo, we'll show the effects of what a sprinkler can do in your home, and how you'll be able to watch it and see how rapidly a home sprinkler will be able to extinguish that fire and control it, and really prevent fire damage from spreading through your entire home. We'll have popcorn and cotton candy inside. And then around noon, Papa Gino's actually graciously donated about 30 pieces.
Excellent.
Papa Gino's is a great supporter of us during Fire Prevention Month and in October, and they help out every year. So
Good.
It's a good
So
thing.
Fire Prevention Month, what other activities are going on, Scott, besides preventing fires?
Several fire departments around have open houses this month.
Okay.
Obviously, there's part of our campaign. Change your clock, change your battery. Change your batteries in your smoke detectors. It's at least twice a year. Excellent. That way, we don't have to worry about dead batteries and not having proper detection in your home.
Right. Great. Good. All right. Well, I think that's a good intro to what's happening today at the open house in Littleton. Come on down if you haven't already. By the time we actually probably will air this, you folks will already have enjoyed the pizza and all the wonderful things happening at the open house. Thank you very much.
This is Rocky. I'm here with Rocky. He's a dog driving a fire truck. Rocky, how's it going today?
This morning we're here with Scott. I'll try that again. It's going to be one of those mornings.